when we officially look at the Rig Veda portion, we'll find that the Rig Veda is divided into early Rig Veda and the later Rig Veda, right? So in this chapter, like there are two chapters, so this chapter would be about the early Rig Veda and another chapter would be over the later Rig Vedic period, right? So what is it about the early Vedic period? The first classification that you can look into is that this belonged to the Aryans. They were nomadic tribes, so by chance they entered India. They used the term Sapta Sindhu as the region where they settled down, and from there the Sindh came up. The original homeland of Aryans was Asia, or Turkey you might say, or Central Asia. And this tribe was one of the leading tribe, and in this the most leading tribe was Bharat. However, Bharat was not a king. Bharat was the most important tribe, and after it, like on that, Bharat is where our country is now named today. So Rig Veda is the oldest literature. This early Rig Vedic period has the oldest literature mentioning about the Aryans, and according to this Rig Veda, Aryans were the first to settle in the region of Sapta Sindhu, and this covered the areas of eastern Afghanistan, the Punjab, the western UP and other areas, okay? And then Aryans used the Das and the Dasis term for the local inhabitants, and from there the terms came up. And from here you might say the basic battle started. So there was, first thing was the Battle of 10 Kings, where in the Battle of 10 Kings there was Bharat and then 5 Aryans and 5 non-Aryans, and things went like that, and that is called Das Ranjan Yudh, like 10 Kings War. And then there were 5 Aryan tribes which were known as Pancha Jain. So this is something that is a word that can be used, or UPSC might just ask. So it was Puru, it was Yadu, it was Turvas, it was Anu, and it was Dhruv. These were the 5 Aryan tribes that were in total called the Panch Jain, and this constituted the Aryan tribes. And then the Battle of 10 Kings, the Das Ranjan Yudh that we call here, this was fought between Sudai, the Bharat king, and the 10 well-known tribes, in which Sudas emerged victorious, that is the Bharats. Why? Because Bharat was wanting to capture Punjab. So that was the first reason. And second, the dispute between Vishwamitra and Vashisht, there was some dispute, and from there that this came. Next, one small big, I don't know what you might say. There are rivers, okay, rivers of which there are Vedic names and there are modern names for today. So rivers nearby Punjab, the first is Jhelum, which is called Vitasta. Jhelum is called Vitasta. Then you have Chenab is called Askini. Note it down, guys, you just never know, UPSC might just ask you. Ravi, we've already done River Ravi. Parushini, we did this in the Harappan video that we had. This is Parushani, Parushini, any pronunciation that you have. Then we have Bias, which is Vipasa. And we have Satluj, which is Satudri. So this is the 5 main rivers that are in India. And there are 4 rivers in Afghanistan, like Kubha, which is called Kabul today. We have Suvastu, which is called Swat today. We have Kruni, which is called Kurram today. And we have Gomti, which is called Gomal today. So these are the 4 rivers which is in Afghanistan currently, and it's working there. So now when we were looking into the questions, we found that yes, there were Aryans. So now we've talked about what are the Aryans and what all happened to them and everything. Now the Rig Vedic people, their political life, their religious life and everything. So now when you look at the first, their religious life, okay. So in their religious life, you will find that they had 33 gods, but image worship was not there. Image worship was not there. That was missing. So this was not there. Then they had main gods that they prayed to. That were Indra. We have Varun. We have Agni. and we have Soma. So Indra is also known as Jitendra or Purandhar, I guess that's what they called. And then this god was in charge for the rain, water. Varun was in charge for the air that you call the sunlight and Surya and everything. Agni was in charge for the fire that you say, and this Agni was considered the priest of the god on earth. And Soma was a creeper. Soma juice was mixed with milk. And if you go through, I think, Amish book, the Shiva mythology, you'll find the mention of Somras and everything there. So that's the Soma that they're calling, I guess. Then we have male gods were more in number and more important than female ones and everything. Sacrifice was important here. So image worship was not there. Sacrifice was there and male gods were there. And offerings included ghee, grain and animals also. And things like that happened, and 4 gods were considered important. This was the religious life. Then when you look at the political life here, you will find that firstly monarchy was there. When you look at political life of these people, of the Rig Vedic people, you will find monarchy prevailed here, and the head was called Raja. The head was called Raja. Now, popular assemblies were there, and the assemblies were called Sabha. That included the king also, and all the discussions were taken this way. And Sabha was the body of elders. And there was another group of body that was called Samiti. Samiti was the house of common people. Just like today we have Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. This was the same agenda, the same structure there. Then they also had that the Sabha and Samiti in the religious texts. It's said that they are the 2 daughters of Prajapati, and from here the name has been taken. And also protection of the people was the main duty of the king here in the political system. And there are 2 types of punishment for serious crimes. So you can use these in your mains answer when you have to write about what all can be the criminal justice given or anything like that. One is Verdeya, and another is Shatadeya. Now Verdeya is like an eye for an eye, that way, like the tit for tat thing. And Shatadeya is like, it's okay, whatever happened, let's give compensation, but let's make this man punish also for whatever thing he had done. Now, if you look at social organization, family system, but before that, let's look into the administration, the way the administration was done. So it was like the individual was called Kula. A group of Kula, like the house, a group of houses was Gram. Gram was called village. A group of villages was district. District was called Visa. A group of district was called state, which was called Jana. And a group of states were called a country, that were called Janapada. So Kula, Gram, Visa, Jana and Janapada, these were the names. And here, however, in the political system, this wasn't a hierarchical thing. Sons did not automatically succeed their fathers. And this economy, now when we look at the economy, the agriculture system and everything, this was the pastoral economy, and agriculture was the secondary economic activity. However, they refer only to one grain. In this agriculture, they only refer to barley, which is also called Yava. Barley, which is also called Yava. So this is the only thing that they had, and only one metal mentioned in Rig Veda, which is called Ayas, and Ayas is the other name for copper or bronze. So this is important, guys. UPSC does ask about that Rig Vedic people enjoyed maybe other metals, alloys and everything that they are talking about, but no, it was only Ayas mentioned there, that is your copper or bronze. Now when you look at the social conditions, you have that yes, patriarchal family was followed, the patriarchal thing was followed there. Joint family thing prevailed. The control and authority were over the family members. Cruel punishments were given to the family members in their failures, and there was no caste system. So there was nothing called the caste system and everything like that, and the family system was all joint family and everything. Also for women, the status of women was the glorious phase, was this phase, the Rig Vedic phase for women, because preference of family was male child, but the girl child was treated equally. And women enjoyed complete freedom, participated in the social and religious functions, and girls were free to choose their life partner. You know, there was a time when Swayamvar happened, and today it's no more there. So that way, no child marriage, no sati, no parda, no dowry, widow remarriage existed. Like, now we are again fighting for all these things to come back, but at that point of time it did exist, and a childless widow could marry her brother-in-law or anything nearest relative also, so that, you know, she goes to the same family or things like that. So that happened. It was very normal and everything. And monogamy was general, but polygamy existed in only royal families. Also, the total words that we came across in our things, see, Mandala, Dasa, Dasyu, we took Panchajana, Jana, Gavasti, Rajan, Sabha, Samiti, Gramini, Patriarchal and everything. So all of these are very easy words, and other words could be your Kshatriya, your Indra, Agni, Varun, Pita, Mata and everything like that. So this is it about the Rig Vedic period, guys. This is it that we need to know. What was the religious life, what were the political and everything. See, I am not saying that this is the only thing that you have to do and you'll clear your answers for UPSC and everything, but the whole point is, guys, that if you look at the political system, UPSC will never ask, okay, there were two parts, what were those two names, and they'll give you an option, Sabha and Samiti, Samiti and this, Prajashani and anything like that. So it will always be complicating. But now what we have to do is, we've not to waste time over reading the easier ones that have been there, but look into the questions and figure out what are the ways UPSC can twist these notes, these common things, to something which is very tough. So now let's come into the later Vedic phase and complete our video for this episode. So later Vedic period is also known as the PGW phase, that is the painted grey ware phase. It is also known as this phase, and first evidence of iron was found in Atranji Khera in Ita district of UP. Atranji Khera. Note them down, guys. Please do not forget all of these and things like that. Just make sure that you have all of these in your copies and do it accordingly with me. Do not just wait for the time, good or better time. Just complete it right now. Two important Aryan tribes we've already know, the Bharat and Puru were there, and they were jointly called Kuru, and their territory was known as Kurukshetra, capital was Hastinapur, and I think we all know, especially after the lockdown, about everything, small details are all completed. So by the later Vedic period, the Aryans captured Videha and Kosala, which was dominated in northern Bihar, and Kosala was dominating in eastern UP. However, this led them to become the supremacy, to have that supremacy in Ganga, Jamuna, Doab region. Also, now when you look at the later Vedic phase, so definitely there has to be differences, there have to be similarities that make later Vedic different, and the clarity over why it is called the later Vedic and why not a part of early Vedic. So the first thing, when we look at the economic conditions, the material life, political, social and the economic conditions, when you look at what are the sources and everything like that. So for the economic conditions, you'll find that yes, it was again an agrarian economy. In this agrarian, agriculture again was the main occupation. For iron, it was used Krishna Ayas and Sham Ayas. That were the names that were given. And it continued to produce barley. So like in Rig Vedic, it had barley, okay, but now here in later Vedic, rice and wheat also started. So this wasn't there in the early, the Rig Vedic one, but in the later Vedic we have rice and wheat also. Now rice was called Urihi. Urihi, do not forget these terms, guys, that really can be important. And wheat was called Godhunam. Wheat was called Godhunam. So this was it, and private land ownership did increase. They were given more heed to and everything. With rice, wheat, barley, we also had now pulses, sugarcane, sesame, mustard. There was special pottery. People lived in huts, kept cattle. Other animals were also there. Painted grey ware arrived. So painted ware design, simple lines, geometry came in and everything. The economy was flourishing than it was doing in the Rigvedic period. Then when you look at the political conditions, you will find that the central India was still following the Rajas. They performed big sacrifices and they recognized the Rajas of Janapadas and Janas and everything. Eastern was called Samrat, northern was called Virat, and southern was called Bauj, and western was called Surat. So king's influence was strengthened by the rituals, the sacrifices, and it was a coronation one-day ceremony, and there were different kinds of sacrifices. Like you have the Raja Surya sacrifice where the coronation was held. Ashwamedh sacrifice was the horse sacrifice, and these sacrifices were done because men wanted to expand the empire and create their sovereignty. Again, when you look at the administrative system like we look in the Rig Vedic period, you'll find that during later Vedic, the administrative system was fully established. So administrative officers were mentioned as Ratnin. Administrative officers were mentioned as Ratnin, and the reference of Ratnin was mentioned in Sattapatta Brahman. Some important officers were who? There was Purohit. Purohit is the advisor who advises over everything. There was Sanani, which was the main of the army. There was Mahishi, which was the main queen who took care of everything. There was Gramini, who was the head of the village. There was Yuvraj. I think Yuvraj you might connect with if you've watched Bahubali. There was Sangra Hitori, who was the treasurer. Sangra Hitori. There was Bhagaduga, who was the tax collector, and there was Polayala also, who was the messenger. So these were some terms that were there, and Meghalith was mentioned there. Now Rig Veda, the food, bones of animals were eaten and everything. So in fruits, if you see, there were ber, amla, jamun, dates, berries. For cattle, they had buffalo, goat, sheep, dog, ass, pig, sambar, spotted deer, black buck, and everything like that. So for people in the Rig Veda hymns, when we look at the Rig Veda period, for people who focused on their religions and everything, you'll find that the hymns were in praise of gods and goddesses. Hymns composed by sages. The priests taught students to recite and memorize and everything. Hymns were composed by men also, women also. They were in Vedic Sanskrit. They were recited, they were heard, and they were printed also within a lesser time though. So everything like that. Now, when you look at sites in Rig Veda period, you will find the Inamgaon. Let's write the sites at one place. Inamgaon is in near the river Ghod, which is like the tributary of Bhim. So it occupied some good portion of the years, and adults were buried here, head towards north, and burial within houses and everything like that. Vessels with food, water was kept with the buried body, and also jar, the courtyard, the five-roofed house, inside that they are kept up. House also had a granary, body was placed in a cross-legged position, and seeds of wheat, barley, rice, largest house, pulses, millets, peas, sesame, everything was there. Bones of animals is found, fruits also are found. So basically you have to see that yes, Inamgaon is a site where all of these are found also, and people were buried here. This is a burial site if you think of. Then you also have one small portion called Mahajanapadas. Those are that are more important than Janapadas. They had a capital city also. They were mostly fortified, and they were like bricks and stones were built around them because people were afraid of the attacks, the Dakautis and everything like that. They needed protection. So basically Mahajanapadas were the better off than these Janapadas, and that is why they were called Mahajanapadas, and that they had taxes for agriculture. There were two major changes in the Rig Vedic thing. The first thing is, since in later Vedic iron came up, but in Rig Vedic iron wasn't there. So use of iron plowshares increased. Heavy clayey soil turned better, so more grain production was there. Transplanting paddy was another technology that was kind of introduced. Then the increased production was there. More plants survived, and slave men and women, that is dasas and the dasyus, and the landless agricultural laborers that were called kammakaras, did all these work. So this is it with your Vedic and Rig Vedic, guys. This was very simple part. You just never know how UPSC might just ask you questions from this. So let's be prepared and let's look into the questions. We'll very soon come to that. Let's complete our Rig Vedic and other videos very soon and be done with this. Thank you.